Save your current progress. Yeah. Twisted Karma and his last bow. And his last bow, not last bow.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside.
I don't really like the narration at the start, that's why I skipped it. 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Cosmo regaining his memory, you were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, Great Waterloo Hotel. 1st November, 10:24 AM. Oh yeah, that's my birthday! 1st November is my birthday. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment. Yes, I'm so glad we got him in time. Shisato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. And I'm surprised. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew that he was actually the mass murderer, the professor? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. Probably means he knows then about Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia, and he's regained his memory now. Ah, there she is. Oh, Father! Hello, Susato. How are you? Oh god, the judge as well. Hello, Mr. No-Header. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. It has. I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive in the steamships from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who's this man, and why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? A phone tap should do it. Yes, a phone tap? What? Here we go then. I hereby pronounce the defendant Rinosuke Naruhodo guilty. Ah! Oh! You're... The court will now hear the trial of Rinosuke. God. That's definitely put a bad taste in his mouth. Your Excellency! Hello, George Jigoku. How are you? It's been a long time. Good, you've remembered now. That really did the trick. Guilty! I think you might be taking this Judge Locke a little too far, don't you? Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? There was no laughing at the time. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. They really did, to be honest. So thanks to you, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, Eugen? Here's the other man who, 16 years ago, came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the 3rd visiting scholar. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Ah, I knew you were jealous. Sorry, ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Seisho here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on the study tour. He is an entirely different person when he's... Well, either that or he just likes making people guilty. Pronouncing people guilty, I mean. Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Ah, yes, now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved in with 8 days ago. About what happened 10 years ago in that tragedy. Yes, could you tell us any more about it? Kazuma's father, first. The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he? That's correct. Genshin Asogi. Genshin. You knew, I presume, father? Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a close trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. What about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. Oh, why? As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up as if he were my own son. Well... And one day, he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided. I want to travel to Great Britain and study there. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually. Oh, what? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma's since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zeeks. What? What? That's news to us. So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, father? In actual fact, no. What I did know was that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try and ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive. And here in London, you say? I never dared even to dream of it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? Because he's been in an amnesiac state. The government and the police have been chasing clues ruthlessly for months now. Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia. What? Amnesia? When we first came across him again here in London, I didn't know who either of us were. I see. Yeah, he didn't even seem to remember who he was. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. I wonder how Kazuma's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? Your journey from Japan now? So how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea. been a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came here 16 years ago. No. That's true. And then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for this long. We were able to relax and enjoy the experience. Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris? We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the Symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow. It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father. It's thanks to Seychelles here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited, and I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugene. You were close friends with the Professor of Forensic Science at Major Hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that. No. There's been a lot of water on the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Cosmo's father, I suppose. That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Eugene here, Genshin Asogi, and myself. We were the original three. First judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time, you know, young lady. Yes, grandmother told me. He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy. Practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. On talk of graves. Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. You remember that Scottish prison governor? Caden, his name was. He was a good man. Yes, but then of course, in our 6th year here, everything changed for that dreadful case when Genshin was arrested for sins. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known them for years. I was a witness on the second hearing, and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say that after that trial, we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. It was a lost cause, sadly. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long. I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here. Susato-san's gone off for a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make as well. Yes, of course, it must be a big responsibility, representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Naruto, I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been. Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her, after all. I've been a miserable father to her. I've probably let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Oh yes, Susato-san hinted at something like that. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable and befits an old grown man, and then that they should have offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind, so perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me here to London. So that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as are there. No, the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. One other thing, Naruto. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you? Well, the thing is, I'm so sorry that took so long. Miss Susato! Now then, allow us to take your bags. Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, Porter. Of course, sir. That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Yes, of course. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Miss Naruto. She made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotoba was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. And has... I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazuma. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. November. My birthday! British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zieks doing here? Like, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, when you say. This place is stifling enough as it is. I really don't need any more tension. My apologies, I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible. Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black. No, you're wearing blue. From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. That's Kazuma. It does look somewhat different without a headband on though. But you can pretty much tell from the jawline that he was a masked man. Now then, Mr. Naruto. Yes, my lord? Come right here. Kill me now. Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you? Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat crawling way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly. As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madam. Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honoured to have been invited. I leave the remaining preparations for the meeting in your capable hands, then, Lord Van Zieks. I will attend at once. He gave you a very cold stare as you left, didn't he? I know, but I haven't done anything. Shall I? No, it's probably the fact he still holds a grudge against the Japanese. These past few days, my feet barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service? Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Sai. Ah, of course. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just, fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Sai's saying wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. It would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Lord Van Zieks is doing an admirable job of holding court. More disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh! Missing? What's become of Cosmo-sama now? So he pretty much quit being his apprentice when he got his memories back, then. About Lord Van Zieks' apprentice. Ah, yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say. That you and he are old friends. How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zieks in the first place? It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Oh my! So he stole away to get it. He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zieks. That way I could keep an eye on him. The chances are that now he's got his memories back, he's remembered his mission. And that's why he's not working with Van Zieks anymore. And then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zieks with tiresome explanations about why he had missed an apprentice. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zieks. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea. I believe he's left London for the time being. Oh. I take it you also didn't know? That the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals or something? Genshin Asogi. Not long after, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million. 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? As a comparison, Miss Naruhodo, Tokyo is 2 million. Exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making, 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations. The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential, which is why this landmark first symposium is to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire. In order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something. You're a bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Miss Nahedo. You don't have to voice my thoughts! I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about the future and embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with Dr. Seif at the helm. It was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. It was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million young Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say. Unintended repercussions of our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though. Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock, finding out my friend's father was... Ah yes, Genshin Asogi. The Professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in London. They were such awful murders and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer can be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, neither do the citizens of London. The main motivation was to avoid the aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand. Correct, however. It has been noted that there were some supporters of the Professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were blighting the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Also a fair few thinkers in London believed anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? Seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. And I believe Sholmes has some answers for us. What was that? A man screaming in the most unflattering way. Do you think could it have been Mr. Sholmes? Oh my, I do hope not. Oh wait, no. I don't want to do it anymore. Mon ami, mon ami. Stop this disgraceful display, huh? Who are these people? Look at their hair, it's bright red. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you two, you're coming with me now. Down to the clink. No, I'm in prison. It's dark and damp, but I don't like it. Oh, you see darkness, it is my friend. I am not scared. But you're always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I'll sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. I don't like this. I don't like it. Oh, tough. We'll finish this down the yard. Now get moving. Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Cyrus. I mean, thanks, you great detective. Wait, that's Cosmo's mask, isn't it? How did it end up there? Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Bruno. Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Mostly performed. Oh, well, that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Yes, of course. Like Johnny Wilson. So, Iris, all that remains now is that the greatest of problems known to man. But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some teas in order, don't you, my dear fellows? What is with your hair? Is something wrong, Mr. Navajo? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? That's on your face. That's on your head, I'd say. Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever's going on here today? In that case, let us sit and drink now. I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today. Converse. The lie you told. Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us... In that case aboard the SS Burial in January, Cosmo wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they'd carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Oh, how horrible! It was necessary to find some material which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. But why? Why do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong. Oh. I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes? What was that about the greatest of problems known to man that you mentioned before? Is there another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes? How should I best explain this? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Yeah, I researched it a lot when I was a kid. Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere. The theory always interested me as a kid. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago. Yeah, Charles Darwin proposed it. Wait, that was in the 1800s? I thought that was the 1700s. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops before that fish. Wait, what? You were apes? Homo sapiens, to be specific. Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man. Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes? Why, is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent. But, did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuscalzo the other day? Sure, a large sum. One potted her for Iris and a new motor car for me later. All of it has quite disappeared, I assure you. Honestly, Hurley, you know you've squandered it. Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. And what was the answer? Why, there is a substantial clue for your very eyes. Don't tell me, let me see. Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what's in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There's one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, you should think. In the end. It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. I think we might need another clue before you uncover the full answer, Miss Nohoda. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on any longer. Mr. Jones, who were the two gentlemen that were here before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals, nothing of significance. Of course they have to make a living somehow. When the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions. When the mood takes me, all manner of infractions. But if that's Cosmo's mask, how did it end up there? When such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you were the target of crime, Mr. Sholmes? I quickly devised a plan to entrap him and deliver him to our young detective ally. You should have asked Greggs he'd come too. He could have had an arresting tea party. An instant word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consumably in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha, I have it. A bungler, that's the word. Bird job is not here you say that. So those redheads have been up to no good. I wonder what the men did. The mask Cosmo wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Zeeks as his apprentice. When he cast aside after the trial the other day, I just saw it picked up. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear myself. But isn't he your best friend? Was his best friend. Now we're seeing the truth. Now we're seeing the true side of him. Yeah. Not as bad as getting glass in your foot, I'll tell you that. Good news that Professor Mikotoba arrived safely, isn't it? Yes, that's wonderful, and the fact that Father has been invited to this important international event. It makes me very proud to be his daughter. Her father, Judge Jigoku, us, and Kazuma, of course. There's an ever-increasing number of Japanese here in Britain's capital, isn't there? Well, yes, I suppose so. But London does have a population of 6 million people, so I think we're still a minority. So Sato-san's father, who came here as a visiting student 16 years ago in Kazuma, was as if some great power had been at work, drawing them here across the ocean to London. It feels as though the waters are starting to swell again now. I do like this fireplace. It's one of the best things I've seen since I've arrived in the country. Mr. Sholmes, about this. Oh, I thought there'd be some new dialogue. No, that comes back. I'm saying something like, "You gave it to me before the accident." If I remembered correctly. Hmm? Oh. I think it's like... This looks like last week's edition. What's that article circling in there? It's an advert. It's an advertisement column. It says to the Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League. What's that? I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but is something on my face? Clearly this has something to do with that lively hair. It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? In the first instance, I'm quite indispensable observation. Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertising you've circled? You noticed in the paper then? That's, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is an distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. How am I stretching a point, I think? The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see? Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can? But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. I wasn't particularly lucky for the red-head in question, I hear, Mr. Sholmes. So you decided to try to join in his place. Correct, I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo. It pains me to admit it. What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? I'm glad you asked, Mr. Sato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece. I changed the colour of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry. Chemistry? I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair flame like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass. But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Amateurs are always hampered by such fears. I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. I mean to say. But of course, to earn £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. And degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely. So anyway, Hurley left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. The park on Lime Street, where the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members. So, well, the whole park was choked with red-headed folk, like coasters, like a and queued for 8 hours solid before, at last, I reached the front. When the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, are you in disguise conducting an investigation?" So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which, I could do little else but turn and leave. Aha! Here is my guest now, my latest client. With money to spend. Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, really. Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. It's not Cosmo. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating, save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you? Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the interview. Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sherlock Holmes! Please, oh please! Please find my husband! He's run away! To upset me. I beg your pardon? Never mind, personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Miss Naomi? I didn't say a word! Come, my dear madam, be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please. Of course. What's the matter, Mrs. Sato? Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently. Yes, now you come to mention it. Evie. And farewell.